Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the NoDQ review, number 343. I am the original review moderator, Virtue, being joined by this week's elite panel of the review, Aaron Rift, of course. Gino is here, co-moderator. Big G, happy to be here. The number one Jeff Jarrett fan in the world, in the Galaxy. JJ Williams is here. Noah Foster is back. What is going on, everybody? Big G, are you happy to be here?
I'm always happy to be here with you guys.
Boom.
I missed the picture. Aaron.
There it is.
Aaron will never let down. If Aaron comes to my funeral, that's gonna be the big blown up picture that he brings. But yeah, I'm doing good. We got some good topics to talk about tonight. So, like I always say, let's get this ball rolling, baby.
Yeah, I mean, we're halfway through the year, and one of our topics, we have to crown who our favorite major world, out of all the championships and all the promotions, it's got to be like the WWE championship or a world championship for the men's and the women's. We got to crown who we think is the best world champion of both for 2025 so far, halfway point. And we're not picking the worst champion. I'm not going to be that guy where we can, look at a wrestler and say how bad of a job they've done, or they've been booked. It's going to be the best wrestler of world champion so far. So we're not going to be able to say, and it's current, by the way. So we're not going to be able to include CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, right? It's of the current champions. So stay tuned. JJ, what's going on?
Not a whole lot, Virtue. Thank you for having me. Always good to be here on the review. I think this is 2 or 3 in a row for me. Trying to, be on the show with this guy and do something that's not shenanigans, but still, harass him and make him rant. So we'll see how things go. Let's get the show rolling.
All right. Noah Foster, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, Virtue and everybody? What's up, NoDQ fam? Good to see you once again. A whole lot is going on right now. We're going all in this week with all the wrestling. My job's going crazy, but it's going to be back here once again on the NoDQ review, continuing the streak for the summer. So as I always like to say, let's get right into it. Good to see you, Virtue.
We got 2 topics, 6 of us. Hopefully we're done by about 8 o'clock. We're going to be talking Karrion Kross, the summer of Karrion Kross. Some very interesting things and opinions I think we need to all share and discuss with him. Similarities and lack of similarities, the summer of Punk from 2011. Gino, what's up?
Not too much. We got a big week of wrestling and big weekend of wrestling coming up, and looking forward to discussing these topics. And as always, honored to be here.
All right. Well, thanks for being our co-moderator. I think next week is Colin. Now, obviously, if he can't, then it's your turn. So I like this roulette here where every 2 out of 3 weeks I can just sit back and not have to worry about talking over everybody. Aaron, what's up?
I'm doing good. We already have a couple of super chats with a few warm-up topics, I suppose, but I'm definitely looking forward to the Karrion Kross discussion. And Big G, you're right. For your memorial, we'll have a blow-up picture of Jeff Jarrett with you in the background, and we'll have all the wreaths and the candles next to it. It'll be quite the visual. But anyways,
burn with it too.
You and I got the horror shirts. Virtue has the ORM shirt, which you could check out at nodq.com/merch. 4 to 6 weeks, you might get it after ordering it, but that's the way it is in today's world. But let's get to the super chats. Ty Arts sent in a €5 super chat. Thank you for that, Ty Arts. Euro, right?
Pound.
Okay, it is pound.
Pound, Aaron.
Why don't women main event WrestleMania anymore? They should. I'll start, and anybody else wants to chime in, feel free to.
I agree with Aaron.
Ronda Rousey. I mean, she's the reason they got the main event of WrestleMania. Now, if Rhea Ripley is up against the right opponent who's at the top level of superstardom, who can match her, maybe they have a shot. But I don't think it's going to happen again, even with the 2-night format, because you just don't have anybody else other than Rhea. Rhea's really the one that's carrying the division. You would have to have a really weak men's lineup for WrestleMania, I think, for that to happen. A weak men's lineup, and then Rhea has a really strong feud and opponent. Maybe then you have a shot. Anybody else want to add to that?
I think a night one is still a possibility, though. Night two, I don't think so.
Pretty much no chance. JJ?
Yeah, just to piggyback off of your point further, I think it needs to be the right talent and the right story. You know, if they can let this marinate until Mania, possibly Bianca Jade or Jade Naomi 2 could main event night one with all the investment they've put into it. Like you said, Rhea versus somebody solid. You know, if they had done Rhea Liv at Mania, I don't think anybody would have blinked an eye with the investment they had in their rivalry, but it's got to be the right story and the right talent.
I think at this point, Rhea and Bianca have the longest running big what if they went one-on-one that could be worthy of a night one WrestleMania event if done right. Again, we almost got this year at WrestleMania. It turned to a triple threat, incredible match, but the jury is still out. Who's better with the two? We still don't know. And the EST has owned WrestleMania almost every time she's been there.
All right. Anybody else want to add to that, or we'll move to the next one? All right. Shout out to Greg, by the way, who's in the chat room. Greg is back. He's been on a bit of a hiatus. He's going to be with us for predictions Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Ty Art's in the role of Psycho Jet Black tonight, feeding us the topics. Ty Arts sent in a £5 super chat. Thank you, Ty Arts. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus LA Knight. Who would win in a beer contest? And then Sean Spears is the most underrated wrestler in the game right now. Well, I'll go first. I'd say Stone Cold. I don't know if anybody could take Stone Cold in a beer drinking contest. Maybe James Storm might be the only guy in wrestling.
Andre the Giant.
Good point. Good point. Actually,
So if we're going to go that route and go living, Big Show might be able to.
Has Stone Cold ever finished a full beer? Because every time he comes in, he just like cracks them both together, and like half the beer is like foam anyways.
I mean, there was that beer drinking contest with him and on Saturday's main event was against JBL, I think, at some point. So the jury is out.
I think Cena would win.
There you go. As far as Sean Spears goes, I disagree. I don't think Ty Dillinger is that great. I really don't. I mean, he's a solid wrestler, but that's about it. To me, he's like a very average wrestler. Doesn't really stand out at all beyond the 10. Anybody want to say he's the most underrated and go for that argument? Go ahead, Gene.
Well, I think what goes into being underrated is there are people out there that don't value what he's doing or what he's bringing. Not that you don't value, but like you underplaying his ability and what he's doing. I think what he's doing in NXT, it's almost like what Karrion Kross should be doing on the main roster. But we'll get to that. I do think that plays a role in being underrated, though. You know, you don't want somebody that everybody's like, oh yeah, no, they're wicked good, because then they're not underrated, right? So it's one of those things where you've got like a back and forth with.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way about Chad Gable, and I still do for the longest time. But working the character that he has been, it's also made a stronger connection with him and that fan base. So again, Sean Spears and Chad Gable for me are both in there as underrated wrestlers. I'm not sure if I would call them the most underrated.
Yeah, I don't know about Sean Spears being underrated, but he is doing some of the best character work down there right now in NXT with the Colleen. And if you feel Chad Gable's underrated, then you must adore El Grande Americano.
Lule Kaiser, and we're going to move on. Also underrated.
All right, Ty Arts sent in another £5 super chat. Ty Arts is Psycho Jet Black tonight.
At least they're topics.
All right. Ty Arts sent in this super chat, says, The Rock became an actor, but could Daniel Day-Lewis become a wrestler? Daniel Day-Lewis played Lincoln, right?
Yeah.
He's widely thought of as the greatest actor of all time. The issue is he's pushing like 80s, so I don't know how he could become a wrestler at that age. So
maybe younger Daniel Day-Lewis.
His son, maybe.
I mean, he did play Bill the Butcher in Gaines in New York, and Bill the Butcher was quite the bare-knuckle fighter, if history is accurate. You know, maybe not pro wrestler, but at least like amateur grappler / MMA, if he had done it around the time of Gaines in New York, but nowadays probably not.
I mean, anybody could become a wrestler if they got any semblance of training. Any Joe Schmo could go.
I mean, look at a lot of the rosters today in wrestling. Anybody can become a wrestler.
WWE's proven it with their NIL program, especially.
80% of the wrestlers are not larger than life stars. They're wrestling fans that became wrestlers.
There you go. Anybody can do it, but doing it good, that's a whole other story. Now, even a great actor, the acting is just part of it. You have to have the athleticism and the charisma, and it's not exactly the same thing. The Rock is definitely one of those guys that was the exception, not the rule. A lot of wrestlers turned actors were okay. A few made it big. Batista did, but most of them were not great doing that transition. Look at Hulk Hogan, for instance. Go watch Suburban Commando, and you can see right there that not every wrestler can be a good actor. Anyways, any other thoughts on that before we move to the next one?
Suburban Commando is my favorite Hogan movie.
There you go. Best Hulk Hogan movie of all time. I tend to agree with you on that too, by the way.
You're going to get tie-outs ideas.
Mr. Nanny gives it a run for its money, though.
I just want to say Three Ninjas, High Noon at Mega Mountain that's my favorite Hulk Hogan movie for sure. So I was a kid back then, and I'm the oldest of three boys, so Three Ninjas franchise was everything to us. So
okay,
fair enough, Gino.
Ty Art sent in a £5 super chat, and then we'll get to Virtue's topic.
Hey, my favorite movie was that one that got banned from Gawker. Oh, well, never mind. I'm just kidding.
Kanye West versus Jey Uso. Ye versus Yeet at WrestleMania 42. Book it, Triple H. I think it would be interesting to see Kanye West on a WWE show just for the reaction of the fans. And all the WWE haters would jump on that, being like, you're letting this guy on your show. Like it would be entertaining just to see people lose their shit.
I mean, they're letting Cardi B host SummerSlam, so the jury is out.
Well, Cardi B didn't go on X and write crazy stuff. Let's be real here.
Fair enough.
All right, Psycho Jet Black has arrived. Virtue, so much for your thoughts on just two topics. We're going to keep it short tonight. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat. Says Damian Priest is what Baron Corbin could have been if he was more successful. And also, will Seth Rollins cash in this year or next year? So I agree about the Damian Priest comment. I think he is what Baron Corbin should have been. And as far as Rollins cashing in, I could see him waiting till WrestleMania and repeating the heist of the century. The reason being is that I feel like Naomi will be cashing in pretty soon with this Jade Cargill title match coming up at SummerSlam. And you don't want to do both close to the same time. So I'm going to say Rollins potentially does it again at WrestleMania next year. Anybody else have a thought on that one before we move on?
I think Rollins is cashing in this year, whether it's Saturday night's main event, SummerSlam, or Cena's final match.
I'm still saying he's going to do it somehow against Cody because I just think it would be a really interesting full circle turnaround. He was his shield. Now he's his sword. Stab the man in the back. Down with Caesar. But yeah, I agree with JJ, though. I still think the cash is happening this year regardless.
Yeah, it could be Cena's retirement match. That would not shock me.
What I want to know is one of our topics, is one of them going to happen this year for tonight? That's what I want to know. Because we're 15 minutes in and we haven't done one yet.
All right, Virtue, let's get to it.
All right, so our first topic is, so far halfway through the year, who do you think is the best world champion, male and female, in wrestling currently? And you can go TNA, AEW, WWE, NXT, New Japan, whatever you want, but let's see if I'm sure we're going to have some similarities, but I guess I want to see, is anybody going to make me chuckle with their picks? So I'm going to start with Big G, so he doesn't piggyback off somebody. He's going to be on the spot right now. You can start with the
spot. Well, obviously, right now for male world champion, it's Gunther, the Ring General. He's in a second world title reign. Hunter sees something in him, obviously. So Gunther, hopefully this run will be a lot better than his first run as world heavyweight champion. As far as female, world champ. I really don't watch AEW anymore, so I can't really say Tony Storm because I really haven't watched it. Damn. As far as I don't know.
He knew about this topic several hours ago, people. Just
No,
so you know.
I no. I'm because you have IYO SKY and JC Jane and Tiffany Stratton in WWE. I'm gonna go with Tiffany Stratton. You know, she's come a long way since her NXT days. I feel like she's gaining some momentum. You know, she's got this match with Trish on Sunday. You know, so she's got that going for her. But you know, good for all the world champions right now in all three companies or all wrestling companies. So Gunther and Tiffany Stratton are my picks.
You heard it from Big G. All right, JJ. Who from TNA is your? No, I'm just kidding.
I feel called out and seen in that chat. That's why I had to put that GIF. But you want to go ahead and throw it out at me like that? Yeah, my women. It's a toss-up between Timeless Tony Storm and Masha Slamovich. Timeless Tony is doing fantastic work. We'll see if she can get past, Mercedes Hogan on Saturday at All In. But on the flip side of things, Masha Slamovich has been tearing things up for close to a year now. She's Masha 2 belts because she's got the Jersey Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Championship as well, defending against men on the independent circuit. So for my women, I'm going to go for a toss-up there between Tony and Masha. For the men, got to go Cena right now. I want to go Gunther, but Gunther is still fresh in his second reign. He hasn't had it that long. So, I mean, if Gunther loses on Saturday to Goldberg, hypothetically, I know let's throw it out there in the ether and piss everybody off. But if he loses to Goldberg, his second run was what, month and a half, 2 months? Not really that fantastic. So, got to go with Cena right now for the men.
Okay. All right. So Cena, and then you had Tony Storm and the TNA Knockouts champion, Slamovich.
Masha Slamovich, yeah.
Okay. Noah Foster.
You already knew what I was going to say, didn't you, JJ? Between character work and match quality, and again, the Hollywood ending that right now is my women's match of the year, it has to be Timeless Tony Storm. And I'm very curious to see if her final curtain call will be at All In. But as far as the men, yeah, that's a bit more of a fickle situation when you consider consistency, strong storytelling, strong champion. I mean, if I really wanted to send Virtue into a world of WTF, I could say Utama Hayashita from Marigold and Osama for Pro Wrestling Noah, but I'm not going to do that. As far as men, JJ, I'm actually going to go with your ruler, Obafemi. Obafemi's been quite dominant, actually, this year since winning that title at New Year's Evil against Trick Williams and Eddie Thorpe. And pretty much there's nobody right now on his level in NXT or probably in WWE. And the fact that he was part of one of the most unique interpromotional matches people have been clamoring for that are fans of NXT and TNA with Moose, I think Obafemi right now is the most dominant champion in WWE with no equal. So I'm going to say, as far as the stateside goes, because that's what everyone's most familiar with, Obafemi, NXT, Timeless Tony Storm, AEW.
Okay,
I totally forgot about Obafemi.
Tony Storm I've heard a couple times. Okay, all right. Gino.
All right, thank you guys. You guys have all made some very good points, and one of these topics makes it fruitful for varying opinions because there's so many different options and there's so many different ways that you can interpret this. I think that holding the top titles in professional wrestling, I think, holds a lot of weight. So as much as I hate to say it, 'cause I'm really not a fan of her cringy taunting, I think it's got to be IYO SKY. They haven't really done a lot with Tiffany, but IYO won the title this year, beat Rhea. She beat Rhea and Bianca at WrestleMania. What we have decided kind of earlier would be a potential women's main event of WrestleMania match. And, they're barely using her, but she's still, I think, is very over with the crowd. And they're constantly chanting her name almost more than they're chanting Rhea or something like that. But I would agree with you guys that all things considered, it's probably Timeless Tony Storm. Now, as far as the men go, say what you want about his heel turn and what they've been doing or whatever. It's Cena. Cena's matches are always main event matches. They're always the top build. They're always the most promoted. As much as I want to say Obafemi, I feel like I kind of enjoyed his North American Championship run just a little bit more up into this point, kind of like how I felt like Gunther's Intercontinental Championship is better than either of his 2 World Heavyweight Championships. So for me, it's Cena, but surprise, surprise, I'm picking Cena. When don't I pick Cena? And reluctantly, IYO SKY.
So I agree with everyone that said Tony Storm, and I don't even watch AEW, but I do go on YouTube or Twitter especially and watch clips, and I see a lot of Tony Storm. And I'm just not like Tiffany Stratton and IYO SKY, both of them, just not clicking with me. Not saying that they're horrible reigns, but I'm going to give that to Tony Storm. So I think when I heard other people say that, I felt relieved. And as of right now, of course, I'm going to say John Cena. He's ruining wrestling. He's pissing people off. It's the worst heel run ever. His matches suck. Everything's a DQ. I love it. I love that he's eliciting those reactions from people. But if Gunther goes over Goldberg Saturday, I'm going to change my tune, and Cena's going to go bump down to 1B, and Gunther will be my new top guy that I will talk about not to nauseum. If I already kind of started doing that. So it's going to be a big Saturday against Goldberg in Atlanta, but so it could change. Aaron Rift, over to you and the NoDQ Super Chats.
Now, first of all, this is people that are currently champion right now, of the current champions who are the top.
Yes, so like I said, it excludes a lot of names that we would normally, like not even Seth Rollins, because you have to currently have it as of right now, as of we're speaking. It could change in a week, but as of right now.
All right, well, I agree with everybody else about Toni Storm. We'll give AEW one. To me, she's one of the best parts of the show. I liked her match where she won the title from Mariah May, who's now Blake Monroe in NXT. She's been one of the best entertainers in AEW. She carries the show, her and a few others. So I give Toni Storm the spot there for the women. And then for the men, I would go with John Cena, with Gunther being right there next to him. But I feel like John Cena's whole shtick with him being the last real champion and the ring introduction and how he holds the title up over his face and wears it backwards to the ring, just the whole presentation of that, it's grown on me. I know some people think the heel turn has been a bust, but it has grown on me, and I look forward to it every week when he comes out there and he does the little bow when the announcer says John Cena's gracing this city for the last time. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the Cena heel run in its own unique way. Like, it's not what I was expecting it to be, and maybe that's why some people don't like it, but I think they've made it interesting. Surely it's a lot better than if John Cena had just come back and done the nostalgia run as a babyface. Like, they're doing something different, changing it up with him. The only criticism I would really have would be number one, Travis Scott's involvement, and then number two, I think they're relying on too many interference finishes and the low blows and everything. Like, I want to see John Cena just win clean.
We said that same thing with Reigns as the bloodline guy. That's what I mean. That's just how they're treating their heel champions.
Yeah. And, I get it. You want the heel to have to bend the rules a little bit, but I think they overdo it with the outside interference and all the shenanigans in these matches. Every now and then the heel can win clean, and maybe you could use that to potentially, like, let's say for SummerSlam, if John Cena beat Cody Rhodes clean, like, everybody would be shocked. Like, Cody lost again, but this time it was clean, and Cody's completely distraught, and it could potentially set up a heel turn for Cody. Like, they could find a way to make that effective storytelling.
Well, I think we all know Cody's losing at SummerSlam now.
The thing is how he's losing. Again, the whole idea going to WrestleMania is you can't wrestle. John Cena says, I don't have to. To your point, winning clean. What if Cena wrestles, quote unquote, surprises Cody with wrestling and beats him at the biggest part of the summer in the middle of the ring?
The best part about anybody, like when you hear, somebody say a wrestler can't wrestle, it's fans who aren't trained to wrestle saying that. So they don't know. They don't really know.
What is the definition of wrestling and wrestle? You tell me. Oxford Dictionary AI is not going to give you the right answer or the answer.
In their opinion, John Cena doesn't know a wrist lock from a wrist watch. That's how they feel. Old Gorilla Monsoon line right there.
Oh boy. Headlock from a padlock.
Anyways, I've said my piece on that. Shout out to John Cena, who's made the most of this storyline, I think.
Never seen 17.
Okay, Aaron, we caught
That's
up.
like the catchiest
We're
thing
caught
I've
up.
heard.
All right, with Psycho Jet Black, we are caught up. This is great. I'm loving the timing, the pacing of this show. So for the rest of the show, I'm sure there'll be more super chats with silly questions and whatnot. But for now, the main event, we're going to talk about Karrion Kross. So if we go all the way back to 2011, we had the Summer of Punk, right? He became the leader of the Nexus and, started changing his appearance. Remember how he was with the Straight Edge Society, then lost the hair, had the mask on. We were seeing a change in him, and then all of a sudden they let him do the pipe bomb, and the rest was history. With Karrion Kross, and you could say there were parts of his run, his title reigns were short back then, and the Office was still pushing him back. But if you look at he did have that long reign before he lost it to The Rock. So if you look at the whole thing before he left WWE, he had a great run, like as a top guy. Segments with Vince McMahon, I mean, you name it. So you could say he was buried at times during that, but he bounced back, and now he's back, right, looking to get a championship one more time. But I'm looking at Karrion Kross's year, and he kind of cut that promo around WrestleMania. The fans are really getting behind him because he's kind of doing that CM Punk's thing where, rebellious or trying to earn your way to the top. I mean, you could say like Zack Ryder a little bit with the internet. That wasn't quite like the realm of CM Punk, but now look at Matt Cardona, right? He's really made a run for himself in the indies. But let's compare this Karrion Kross thing. First of all, I hate this name. It should be Killer Kross. Yeah. But I feel like he's being held back. If you go back and look at Punk's reign, he was, even with the Straight Edge Society before he really got into pipe bomb era Punk, he won 2 Money in the Banks. He was world champion. They saw something in Punk to a point. So I wasn't surprised with them really letting him do what he did in 2011. Karrion Kross really hasn't done anything. He had that little run in NXT, but it was kind of like the whole Vince McMahon stuff when he first got called up. It was kind of like a joke. And then he got released and came back, correct? Is that what happened with him?
Yes.
And and now Vince isn't there, and you hear Triple H in interviews like, give it time, this and that. But like sometimes you got to strike when the iron's hot, and if you wait too long, it loses its luster. And he's not even winning matches right now. I mean, how slow of a build can you have it? Like they're still kind of doing that with LA Knight. I think with somebody like Karrion Kross, when the merch starts rising, you're getting an internet buzz. I mean, he was on Ariel Helwani, and he doesn't do that with everybody, where you have these candid interviews with wrestlers, and then it gets a lot of traffic and attention. I think that they need to do something with this and not just make the fans wait and wait and wait. And I don't know what it is. Like, I don't think he's a horrible wrestler, right? You got to give a guy time to work with other wrestlers so they can get chemistry, have matches. They don't really do house shows anymore. So what do they do? Like, we're kind of stuck between, is this the legit hype that we had with like Punk and even Daniel Bryan, or is this just nothing? And like Ron Killings, it'll fade away and then he'll be out of the company and it'll be like, what happened with that? I kind of remember back in the day, Sean O'Hare, right? Had those great promos, but then they brought Piper in with him and it just wasn't clicking. Whatever he did in those vignettes wasn't clicking in the arena. WWE pulled back real quick and nothing ever came of him. I'm getting more Sean O'Hare vibes from Karrion Kross right now than CM Punk. What does everybody else think? I will start with you, Noah.
it is one of those things where, to your point, we're seeing more of attraction with the WWE fan base, wanting more of Cross, and even from just the small moments he's on television, beating somebody with a pipe, for example. What is it supposed to lead to? It surprises me that they don't have Cross do more vignettes, be more, theatrically methodical, like a Hannibal Lecter type approach when it comes to his cerebral madness and assaulting right now Sami Zayn. Whether or not Sami Zayn's written off for another one-on-one match of those two down the line, it remains to be seen, but it just feels like they don't know what to do with someone of Cross's character. Again, I remember back in the NXT days when they used the hourglass to tease your time is about up, tick-tock, everyone pays the toll, doomsday is coming. I remember that great story I had with Keith Lee, for example. They don't exploit methods like that. I would love to see Sami Zayn come out to the ring demanding to face Karrion Kross. Adam Pearce doesn't answer this time. Scarlett comes out with an hourglass. Sami, you're just buying your time until the end is up. It's just one of those things where I just don't know why they aren't taking that approach with somebody that could be a lethal threat towards anybody in WWE if booked correctly. It just feels like there's still a missing piece to the puzzle, and I don't know why it's been missing this long and why it hasn't been found yet. But I do fear that if they don't do something more dramatic with him on screen, then yeah, he could literally fade away, become obsolete. And I'm not saying that like Broken Nero, Jeff Hardy, but I wish they did more of what he did at NXT with him on the main roster. Tarot card readings, foretell the future of somebody. They could really go far with this Sami Zayn storyline if they do it correctly.
And Noah, I'm going to bring this up because it's not the fans don't think this way, because Killer Kross was over in the Indies and his NXT run was promising. As I'm sure most smart fans know, when Karrion Kross learned to become a wrestler, he was trained in Las Vegas by Glenn Gilberti.
Yes.
Disco Inferno, who I think, because he does a podcast with Conan, and they put over WWE a lot, like especially during this run of making a lot of money, because I often hear Disco bickering with Russo. Russo's like, so nothing in WWE's good. If he's not there writing it, it all sucks. But it's critical. But they're still buddies. So is there political, like, well, Russo, that's a Russo and Disco Inferno guy, we're not going to push him? I think that stuff still happens in wrestling. And that's the only thing right now I can think of why they didn't push this guy yet. Because of how he came through up in the business and learning. Like, he didn't truly come up through NXT. He was already trained. He just did NXT to learn the WWE cameras and stuff. And I hate saying that, but that might be one of these, because he's red hot right now. He could be white hot, and they're just holding back. It's strange. Gino, I'm going to come over to you now. What do you think?
All right. Well, great points by you guys that have been able to go so far. I really appreciate that. I've got a lot for this main event topic. Not a lot, but I just got a lot of thoughts. So I'm going to do my best to get them all out here, and we'll see what's going on. First off, it's funny that we keep comparing Karrion Kross to LA Knight, because I feel like he's suffering from the same thing LA Knight is suffering from. That's a severe lack of a live microphone. Like, they've got these guys, LA Knight's been over for a while, and Karrion Kross is getting over organically or naturally, however you want to put it. And they just keep relegating these guys to talking backstage and doing their work backstage. Seeing Karrion Kross come out to the ring for a match at Night of Champions it felt fresh, because we don't get that, right? Yeah, we had the stuff with where they were kind of trying to push him. They had him with AOP, and it wasn't, the Final Testament wasn't really getting over. But I remember the commentary online was like, WWE Kross can't get over. Like, that used to be the issue, is that he wasn't getting over his match. Nobody was making a sound for him and all this stuff. And now, since that interview that he did on that podcast where he went off, like, people now, it's like hip to chant, "We want Kross." I even brought a Push Kross sign to Saturday night's main event in Tampa. I'm not saying I'm responsible for this or anything like that, but but I want to see what he can do now that he is starting to get over. You give him something to do, but they're not, like, I would have given him a microphone the next show after that podcast went out and went viral, or however you want to put it. the more Karrion Kross we get, the more Scarlet we get, and I don't know anybody that's going to complain about that. So there's that extra aspect of it. I compared him to R-Truth. They brought R-Truth back, gave him a match, and then relegated him to obscurity again. And I thought, okay, they'll give Kross a match against Sami, and then we'll try and get a few more T-shirts sold, and then they'll be back to obscurity. But he's been on Raw twice in a row. Now he's actually in front of a live crowd, not talking yet, but that's heading in the right direction. I just feel like because he had a tough time getting over, and I feel like they tried so many different things with him that they're a little apprehensive that now he's over for now. So how long will that last? And that was kind of what happened with LA Knight. Oh, he's over for now, but he could just be a flash in the pan. And the fans are showing WWE that we are behind these guys, and they're not flashes in the pan. So yeah, it's very hip to chant "We Want Kross." I think we're gonna get more of that moving forward. These guys that get over naturally, I figured Triple H would be different because the guys that got over naturally in the past were usually held back a little bit. There's Zack Ryders and things like that. But especially since Kross seems to be Triple H's boy, and we've seen how much Triple H will help out one of his girls in IYO SKY, making her relevant when she arguably doesn't necessarily need that. Like, I figured Triple H would be a little bit different with his treatment towards people that are getting over organically. And it just, we're waiting to see what happens. Maybe there's not a lot to fit with the current storylines and stuff, but you've mentioned striking while the iron's hot. And I would agree that we should try and do that.
They need to have him do a promo next week or come out and take over like the commentary booth, like scare the daylights out of Michael Cole, my favorite choreographer. He needs to do something of value on screen in the ring area or in the ring vocally, I think, to really push forward what the people have been clamoring for.
He also needs to beat somebody in a match. And I don't care if it's heel tactics, cheating. I know, we get a lot of it with like how Roman Reigns was, how Cena is now. Get him some dubs, because then he can come out and, say, well, I'll do what I have to take. I'll do what it takes to get to the top. And he doesn't have matches. Like, it's bizarre. All right.
Have him destroy Austin Theory, Grayson Waller, Akira Tozawa. Start with that and then work your way out. Another loudmouth that may want to try and get somewhere instead of being catering with his tag partner.
Gino?
Just one last thing. Right, it reminds me of the whole Chad Gable, Sami Zayn thing leading into the match with Gunther at WrestleMania. Like, Chad Gable's training Sami Zayn. Like, we know he's an Olympian, but what has he done in wrestling or WWE to make him coach somebody who's had a better career and done that? It's like, how are we supposed to believe that Karrion Kross is this threat to anybody when they're not treating him like a threat to anybody? So I want to feel that way from him. He's a big, imposing guy, good on the mic. He's got his wife, like, all of those things scream like, push this man. So
I look at Rusev when he was pushed over Rusev Day. Rusev just faced Sheamus. He told Sheamus, "Thank you, big brother." I think Sheamus would be a very good caliber opponent for Karrion Kross to take on. I don't like Bullet's fella, but being a former practically Grand Slam Champion Canelo champion, that could speak values.
But look at Rusev Day got over. Rusev was over, never got main evented, really. I mean, never had the title. And that was Vince era. But, like, it's sometimes when it's not designed that they want you over, they bury you. It's just crazy. I mean, Zack Ryder. All right, Big G, over to you now.
Yes. Yeah, so Karrion Kross, I think he's doing good right now. He is red hot, and I feel like they should push him, have him have more matches and whatnot. But no, to what you had said earlier, when he did come back, whenever he came back for a second run, I know he did the whole, TikTok thing with the hourglass for a little bit, but then I think when he joined up with AOP and did the whole Final Testament thing, it kind of like faded away.
Correct.
But he's been doing the backstage segments. He was messing with the minds of the New Day and even Sami Zayn and stuff like that. So he's got that kind of psychological it factor almost, in a way.
Mentalist. basically.
Mentalist, thank
He's
you.
basically
Much.
doing the Sean O'Hare promos from back in the day.
Yeah.
That's
And like,
yeah.
and like you mentioned, Virtue, and I've seen it too. You know, his shirt sales are like skyrocketing. You know, they're overselling Cody Rhodes and John Cena, and you know the crowd is chanting, "We want Cross, we want Cross." But I just had that gut feeling like it's that flavor of the month, you know, that we're gonna get with Karrion Kross. Even though it's been for a while, it's been a couple months now, but I feel like WWE is gonna ignore it, or they'll do something, and then they're just gonna move on to the next flavor of the month that the crowd is cheering for, and that sucks for the talent because Karrion Kross is, like I said, he's really good. I like when he had his match with Sami Zayn, I was just like, this man can do everything. Why aren't you pushing him? You know. So, but there's just this gut feeling that WWE is not going to do anything with him now that Sami Zayn, you know, is indefinitely out of action, you know, with Braun Breaker. But I could see Cross turning face and facing Seth Rollins' group now, you know,
in
because
opposition.
Breaker did mention, you know, what are we going to do about Cross, you know? So if WWE does something, they need to do that. And I think Cross could take, you know, if they wanted to do something like he wanted to face Rollins, well, he has to go through Breaker first, then Bronson, and then Seth, you know, something like that. That's just an idea. I'm not a WWE writer. We're not WWE writers. We're just fans that
we probably
enjoy
would
what
do a better
WWE
job at
puts out
some
for
of
us.
them.
Yeah, we probably
When you
would.
say
Yeah,
we're not, I
we
think they're all good at what they do. Some are, but some are shit.
some aren't. No, you're right. You're right. But yeah, that's my
I
take
mean,
on
I
the whole
remember a
Karrion Kross
time in
thing.
wrestling when WWE hired a lot of soap opera writers. And it was
I
at the
remember.
time when soap operas were getting canceled. There used to be like 10, 12 soap operas during the day. Now there's like 3. Okay?
Yeah.
Those writers went on to go write for wrestling after they got their soap opera stories canceled. Come on. Anyway.
Yeah. I just hope they don't do anything
Big G,
like
on a scale of Marco Stunt to Jeff Jarrett, where would you put Karrion Kross?
above Jeff Jarrett. He's a 12.
So like an 11. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Wow.
Anything else, Big G?
Yeah, I just hope they don't screw up his character and like make him do the whole gladiator thing with him again.
I mean, to be fair, Big G, he did take out literally NXT's top 4 in a fatal 5-way when he was the ultimate gladiator of NXT.
Let's look
at you're
like
right.
Karrion Kross literally was that gladiator like thing with that mask on per Vince McMahon. LA Knight was that one whatever he was, right? The fashion guy.
Max Dupree.
Yes, Max Dupree.
Max
and
Dupree,
that was a Vince McMahon. Like it's insane. You could just tell when somebody doesn't like somebody. Now granted, Triple H is there and in charge now. So it does give somebody like Karrion Kross probably a better opportunity because Karrion Kross went through NXT, and was that still kind of the Triple H's NXT, or did that become the Vince McMahon?
Yeah, that was Triple H
Okay.
NXT.
There's Triple H.
Black and
that's
gold.
good. That bodes well for Karrion Kross. Okay, I'm going to go over to JJ now.
Sorry, I had to dip out for a second there, gentlemen. I don't know if maybe this was touched on with what Gino said, but I feel like the Final Testament really screwed Kross's momentum. You know, Paul Ellering is a fantastic manager from yesterday, but aside from the Road Warriors / Legion of Doom, what has he done? AOP were garbage.
Oh.
Toka and Razor from Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze had no business on my WWE television.
Damn!
Wow. Hot take.
Cold-blooded hot take.
Is he wrong, though?
I mean, but seriously, once that started, Karrion Kross turned into basically a crash test dummy. He was going nowhere but slamming into a brick wall. He was supposed to do something with the Wyatts. That fell apart. And there were too many factions going on at the time in the WWE because you still had the Bloodline. You had Final Testament. You had the Wyatt Six coming back. You go over to NXT. You had the Schism still doing their thing there. There's too much. And so many of them had pieces that were similar. Like, I'd be hard pressed to sit there and find what truly was the difference between like the Schism and the Final Testament. Except one was in developmental and one was on main television. You know, now Kross is freed from that, but he's fighting an uphill battle. He's got to dig himself out of the 6 feet underground that he was buried behind the weight of, AOP. And he's just finally, like, you can see the fingertips getting to the top of the dirt, like he's starting to pull himself out. The big thing is going to be what's next. Like, if we can get Kross onto SummerSlam, I think that'll be huge, because if you think about it, LA Knight really hit a turning point when he won that Slim Jim Battle Royal.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that Kross needs to win a Slim Jim Battle Royal or a Prime Scramble or a Fruit Loops, whatever. But if we can get him,
Fruit Loops free for
get
all.
him in something at SummerSlam to bring some attention, because it's 2 nights. You're going to need to fill space.
Yeah.
And you're going to be looking to get a bunch of the not booked people somehow on the show.
Mm-hmm.
If we can find an angle to get him in there, do something with Kross and R-Truth. R-Truth just came back to the company. I'm driving now. He's trying to prove himself. Kross, ever since Mania and that shoot promo, has really had some momentum. Let's bring these two forces together and see where the fans, see how divided the fans are, because the fans, in theory, got Killings' job back, and the fans are very much in support of Kross right now. So I think that would make for a great dichotomy with that huge crowd at SummerSlam.
You got to have the right feud and the right opponent. Imagine if Kross started mixing it up with CM Punk.
But if we can't get Kross on SummerSlam, then to take from his old gimmick, TikTok, when's the contract up? He'll be in the next round of releases.
LA Knight, Karrion Kross, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins Vision, possibly 6-man tag at SummerSlam.
I mean, you got to have the office behind you. Look at Seth Rollins. Then Triple H has been behind him the whole way pretty much. And even now, hey, I get Braun Breaker, I get Bronson Reed, Paul Heyman with me, right? Like that's what it takes. You need to have the office behind you. And is the office really behind Karrion Kross? Has everybody went so far? JJ, do you have anything else you want to say?
Just, I'm seeing Psycho Jet Black's super chats pop up, and let me just say, Aaron, I'm sorry for my references, because it seems to have triggered them.
JJ, what have you done?
Before we go to Aaron, Gino.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to touch on what Big G said about flavor of the month. At least the flavor of the month gets pushed for a month. So there's that. Now, as far as Karrion Kross at SummerSlam, they're doing Vegas WrestleMania again next year. The big issue with Kross and his whole pipe bomb thing was that he's from Vegas and he couldn't even get freaking SmackDown something. I think that they're going, I mean, they didn't book Vegas again just to rectify Kross's situation, but I think that they are going to do right by him this year at WrestleMania, presuming he doesn't cool off by then. So I just wanted to touch on that.
Hopefully more than the Dre.
Fair enough. All right, Aaron, and the NoDQ Galaxy.
Well, you guys, I feel like Big G, you guys took a lot of the words out of my mouth. I had a lot of things I wanted to say, and everyone pretty much said it. So,
well, that's why I have you go last, because then you can basically get right into the super chats.
Yeah, pretty much. Everybody made great points about Kross. He is a Triple H guy, though. He was pushed under the Triple H regime of NXT. He went to the main roster. We saw what happened with that. He came back, And they did push him, and it wasn't working out, so they pretty much gave up on him. But now, somehow, he's organically getting over with the fans. And I feel like maybe it's just a matter of they have to find time for him. This was mentioned earlier. Like Triple H is known for doing things more in advance, and he might have already had SummerSlam mapped out 6 months ago, and Kross wasn't in the plans. It could be, as JJ pointed out, a situation where they want to capitalize on this. So it's SummerSlam, just like with LA Knight. And I do think that is the best comparison, LA Knight and Karrion Kross. Both guys, good on the mic, great looks, not the best wrestlers in the world, but very solid and just entertaining, talented guys that are molded for WWE. They just have what it takes to be WWE superstars, and people feel like he's not getting the opportunity. And it could be an LA Knight scenario where Karrion Kross gets some kind of a big push at SummerSlam. And Caleb Jacobs sent in a $3 super chat, says Karrion Kross deserves better. I agree with that, and I'm happy that the guy is finally getting the reactions from the fans after years of them throwing everything to the wall and nothing was catching on. Now he's finally getting the reactions, and I do think Triple H will do something with him and they will capitalize on it. But as JJ said, if SummerSlam 2 nights comes around and Kross doesn't have anything going on, then that very well could be the end of it, and they're just going to let it go. Like, you would think that if they have plans for Kross by SummerSlam, they will fit him in somewhere and give him a moment at SummerSlam, just like they did with LA Knight 2 years ago. And we got some super chats here. Psycho Jet Black sent in $5. Thank you, Psycho. And this ties into what we were talking about too. Kross would have thrived well in the Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression. He just needs a feud with a major star like a Jey Uso or a Cody Rhodes. I agree with that. You need to get him in the mix with a big star. And I think Big G might have mentioned this. Like, they kind of teased something with Karrion Kross getting involved with Seth Rollins' group. Braun Breaker mentioned Kross. And now I'm wondering if they will go with the face turn, because they have a way to do it now where Kross wants Sami Zayn and Sami Zayn's dealing with Seth Rollins' group. But what if Kross comes out there when Braun Breaker's trying to beat down Sami Zayn, and then there's a butting of the heads between those two and things go south, and that's what leads to the Karrion Kross babyface turn. I think they could make that work and have Kross feud with Rollins' group, and Kross can even beat Braun Breaker, maybe even Bronson Reed, and you can elevate him and potentially have him feud with Seth Rollins at some point. And that's how you get Kross as an upper card guy. You get him in the mix with all those people. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm thinking SummerSlam they will do something, but if not, it won't be a good sign. One way or another, I think by SummerSlam, we'll know if there's a real future for Karrion Kross in WWE. Time will tell. We got some super chats here from Psycho Jet Black. One guy who's probably not getting pushed anytime soon. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2, said, Fruit Loops are more over than Austin Theory.
I agree.
Well, yeah. Big cereal for kids and adults.
Top tier cereal right there, Fruit Loops.
Top 5 for me.
They got Fruit Loops with marshmallows now too.
Wait a minute. Is Fruit Loops which is the mascot for Fruit Loops?
Toucan Sam, baby.
Toucan Sam.
Follow your nose wherever it goes.
Just follow your nose.
See, I like the tiger.
Tony the Tiger.
They're great. Yeah.
Aaron only likes him because he did voice work for WCW too.
He did?
The guy that voiced Tony the Tiger? I think so. He was the guy that always said what cities they were coming to.
Oh, wait a minute. Lee Marshall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm sure there was other Tony the Tigers, but he was one of the voiceovers at one point in the Tony the Tiger serial run. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think of Tony Khan, Tony the Tiger. Everything's great. All In's going to be great. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, Marco Stunt and Austin Theory are on the same level. I mean, come on. As much as we like to rip it to Austin Theory, I would not go that far.
I mean,
wouldn't
period
either.
of time, Tony Khan hired Marco Stunt and had him on television.
It was a novelty thing. You know, they were just putting him out there because he was popular on the indie scene.
And Austin Theory was out there because he was Vince's son, legitimately.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat and says, crash test dummies are more over than Austin Theory.
Well, they're used more often.
Damn you, JJ.
He's not going to say anything. That's his boy. He's not going to say anything.
All right, we got a couple here. Jason M has chimed in. He sent in $2. Thank you for that. Says, are you excited for All In, and will it be better than WrestleMania? I'm looking forward to it. I don't think Virtue cares one way or another about All In.
I mean, if it was on HBO Max where I didn't have to pay additional money, I would watch it.
Fair enough. I think wrestling wise, it will be better than WrestleMania.
If Brock Lesnar was on the card, I would watch it. I'm just letting you know.
There you go. Noah, you think it'll be better, like match wise, than WrestleMania?
I'm not one to do the greater than or the yaha or do contrast, but as a professional wrestling fan, let's freaking go! Yes, I do think the wrestling quality is going to be better than overall WrestleMania because we've said it verbatim here. JJ, you even can admit to it. When it comes to in-ring work, it is stronger and more politically showcased in AEW than it is in WWE. But that's not the only thing that wrestling, even the biggest shows of the year, are all about. But I am looking very forward to this Saturday.
All right. Now, JJ, do you think it will be better than Bound for Glory?
Ooh.
I'm like Noah. I don't like doing the comparisons, but it'll probably be on par with.
All right, fair enough. And I don't think Big G cares because Britt Baker or Jeff Jarrett are not on the card. So there you go.
The issue I have with All In is I feel like the two main matches, the two world title matches, are too predictable.
Fair enough. Well, the thing is, so predictable, you think Paige is going to win?
No, I think Mox is winning.
Well, so see, I think Paige is winning. So I don't
there
know
you go. Already a contrast. And again, predictability in wrestling is not a bad thing.
I know. I didn't say that it was a bad thing. You know, I subscribe to that philosophy.
Now, hold on. I have no idea what you think about the women's match. I think Toni Storm's winning. So see, we are on complete opposites here. Everyone's so scared
I'm not
Mercedes is going to win.
Right? I keep up with it enough on social media. My gut feeling tells me that Adam Page is winning the title and Mercedes Moné is winning the title.
All right, so he's like half and half there.
I love this different dichotomy in the results. This is awesome.
My thought process is everyone's so scared about Mercedes.
But I'm going to tell you why. Because all the money Tony Khan has invested in her, Mercedes, that's why I think he's going to give her that moment and add another title to her. And think about it. Tony Khan gave up everything because of Adam Page. The whole CM Punk stuff. He's going to push Adam Page to the top.
And it's in Texas.
I'm thinking how Tony Khan's probably rationalizing his decisions.
He's going to really lose a Texas death match in Texas?
Sure.
Jury is out.
And JJ, so I wanted to say this about Mercedes. The TBS title is not on the line, correct? It's just Tony's title.
Correct.
So Mercedes loses, guess what? She still has the TBS title and she still has the other 10 champions.
The Rev Pro, the CMLL World's Women, too many titles to count. There's another title from Austria. I can't think of it right now. Sorry.
If Tony wins, who beats Tony?
Maybe Mercedes gets another match at some point.
Or Casino Gauntlet winner. Remember, Casino Gauntlet winner will challenge for the AEW Women's World Championship. Megan Bayne came this close.
Oh, wait, Aaron, you think Adam Page is going to win his match, right?
Yes.
Okay, because what's the stipulation? What's the stipulation for that
It's
match?
a Texas death match.
Oh, yeah. So when you said that earlier, I obviously think Adam Page is going to win. But
Stay
yeah,
tuned, folks, for more of this type of conversation on Sitting Predicting this Thursday with this Wednesday with me and Gaggle Fools.
I'm
Tomorrow night, Dynamite.
just looking at it from Tony Khan's investments that, and he's got a lot invested with Adam Page and Mercedes Moné over the last couple of years. He lost CM Punk because of Adam Page and all that money that she's getting and all the titles she's winning from other it's just, to me, that's why I'm picking those.
Oh, so get this gem, everybody. Michael Wayne says, I will stop watching AEW if Moxley retains. I didn't even know Michael Wayne was watching AEW.
I didn't
Me
either. I
neither.
thought he was a big old WWE.
Yeah.
fan.
Are you in the All Elite League, Michael? I'm going to double check the leaderboard, but okay, that's your choice. I still watch everything, so.
But anyway.
City by the Bay is shocked that JJ says Moxley's winning. I don't know if we have betting odds. I should go check that in a second.
Mean, think about it. If Moxley somehow retains and Mercedes wins the women's champion, if I were to have a discussion after that saying who's the worst current world champions, I think Mercedes and Moxley would be two of the top candidates people would pick.
Okay. Let me pull up the betting odds.
Uh-oh.
So JJ,
going over time.
JJ, you picked John Moxley.
Yep.
Well, Hangman Adam Page is a minus 850 favorite. So you're saying that's a predictable match, but the odds are heavily in Page's favor.
Woo.
Now, you are right about the women's match, though. Mercedes is a slight favorite at minus 190. At a loss for words.
I don't follow the betting odds. For me, and Noah will co-sign with this to a certain extent because I know he follows a lot more than I do. But everything that we are watching right now began with Darby Allin.
Yep.
And I think it ends with Darby Allin. Darby Allin won the opportunity to challenge Mox last year. Darby Allin lost that opportunity to Mox, and then Mox won the title at Wrestle Dream last year in Washington. This all happened because Darby still wanted to go climb Mount Everest. Darby then left, ascended Mount Everest successfully, showed the AEW flag on top of the mountain, is back, and here we are with the Casino Gauntlet at their WrestleMania pay-per-view.
But here's how Tony Khan can go with his thinking. Still have Adam Page win, become the champion, have Darby feud with Moxley again, and the winner gets a shot at Adam Page, and it'll be Darby Allin this time.
Darby's going to win the Casino Gauntlet.
In your opinion.
That's my prediction. Darby's winning the Casino Gauntlet.
Why are we talking about
surprise
who
entrant?
super chatted that? Next.
And got 10 minutes of AEW talk.
Next.
This is
right.
brilliant.
And the ratings dropped. Just like Dynamite every week.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, Jay, come on.
But
NXT
that's not
came
counting.
I
Max.
love you, but you know I'm right.
Not
Yeah, I know.
counting Max.
I still enjoy it, though.
Not counting the 7.2 million people watching on Max. All
For
right.
those that keep up with those statistics, moving on.
All right. Ty Art sent in a £5 super chat. Says the industry equals a possible name for Seth Rollins' group. Your thoughts? And number 2, add Ron Simmons to the group. Damn.
Damn.
Yeah, I've been calling them the Seth Riders, and I'm not going to stop until they give me a reason to stop calling them.
You know
that.
what? I'm going to call them the Seth Riders until they actually come up with a damn name for the group.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins group the name for his group should be, because Heyman's there, it should be called Because Roman Reigns Went to Hollywood. That's what their group name is.
Well,
Because Roman
now
Reigns
funny.
went to Hollywood. That's what Seth Rollins group should be called.
Now Paul Heyman is known as the Oracle, so it should be called the Matrix.
Well, they still call him the Wise
that's
Man
good.
when he comes out on Raw, which I think is a little.
Yeah.
I wish they would have changed it. Yeah.
To be fair, they all wear black. They all wear sunglasses. I mean, the Matrix actually kind of works.
I say just call them the Dangerous Alliance. It's so simple. I don't know why they're not doing that. But anyways.
I personally like the Vision.
Thank you.
Not bad. Better than the Industry. I don't think I like the Industry.
The industry. The industry strikes first.
All right, we got
Next.
$2 here from Psycho Jet Black.
God.
Here we go, guys. Here comes the
Oh,
Psycho
boy.
train.
Buckle up, folks.
All right, all aboard the Psycho train. Says the Hamburglar is more over than Austin Theory.
Rubble, rubble.
Next.
I disagree.
Nah, I mean, Hamburglar's been kind of gone from McDonald's lore
Yep.
for a long time, so I wouldn't think. I
Mhm.
don't know. To me, that's inconclusive.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you put Ronald McDonald, I would say yes.
Yeah.
Hamburglar,
Grimace.
All right. McDonald's really doesn't run with that stuff much anymore.
No, they don't. And you don't have a lot of
all
children's
corporate.
television on TV, so you can have kids commercials.
Got
You
rid
just
of
get
a lot
whatever's
of
on
the
Hulu.
playgrounds, and it's all corporate, square buildings, very, very corporate.
Mhm.
we're going off the rails on the Psycho train here.
Oh,
We got
no.
a $2 super chat. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. Said the Rollins group should be called the White Lines.
I think it's a reference to a party chemical of some sort.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Oh
see.
god.
Has anything been
Oh,
trademarked recently, like we hear through the dirt?
the Oracle, and they're using it now. Nothing else.
Oracle.
But that's
Yeah.
for him, right?
For Heyman, yeah.
Yeah, but when he
Rollins.
accompanied Braun and Bronson to the ring, they still called him the Wise Man. So they're not even
Yeah.
really using
So
it.
it's not. It's not
Rollins.
yet.
Rollins is using it. He's calling him
Okay.
the Oracle.
Because he's smart. knows?
Rollins with the vision alongside the Oracle. He sees the vision through the Oracle. It writes itself.
All right, we got a $2 super chat here from Psycho Jet Black. Hulksters in Heaven is more over than Austin Theory. If you know
Well,
that song, you would have to agree. That's an all-time classic song. That
I
album.
thought he was just making a general reference. I mean, well, yeah, they're on a higher level of existence.
No, there's an actual song called Hulksters in Heaven. And one of the lyrics is I used to tear my shirt, but now you tear my heart. That was an actual line from the song. Go listen to it, Noah. After this, go look up Hulksters in Heaven on YouTube. It's a song
I don't know if I want to.
from his 1995 smash album, Hulk Hogan and the Wrestling Boot
I feel
Camp.
like I'd rather listen to JJ's Def Rebel playlist or Bremo than that.
That is proof positive that Def Rebel isn't as bad as people make him out to be. Noah's willing to
They're
listen
not.
to it.
They're
Well,
not as
40
bad, but they have some
well,
bad songs for
So
sure.
about 40 songs. He's all right.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says Cat in the Hat, a little Dr. Seuss, is more over than Austin Theory.
Well, yeah. It's
Now
probably
that
more
depends
over
if
than a
you're
lot of
talking
wrestlers.
about. It depends if you're talking about the classic book or the Mike Myers movie. The
Well, I will
book,
say
yes.
this.
The Mike Myers movie, no.
I agree.
They are making a new Cat in the Hat movie with Bill Hader as the voice. So the Cat in the Hat's getting a push, brother. Austin Theory's not getting a push. So
I still support A-Town Down.
yeah,
you
for
always
sure.
will.
All right, now we got a serious question from Psycho Jet Black. He sent in $5. Thank you, Psycho. Says, seriously, what is going on with Montez Ford? Everyone was saying that this guy was the next big single star, yet he's still in a tag team. What happened? That's a good question. I think that they got cold feet on pushing him as a singles because maybe they felt that Angelo Dawkins would get lost in the shuffle. Yeah, I think that they've passed their expiration date as a tag team. The music is terrible. I miss the old song. Big G, I remember your wedding. You came out for your entrance with the Street Profits music. Imagine coming out to the new music, like the place would be dead. Like it would be a huge bust. It would cause everybody to leave the room and go home.
Every time I look at a WWE highlight, I'm like, oh no, they've been Def Rebel.
Yeah. Street
Yeah,
Profits.
I will say this, though.
nothing for me. I mean, they still have good matches, but I'm over them as a tag team. The only reason I would argue to keep them as a team is because you lack other good teams. Well, you have good teams, but not really like strong teams that can carry the division.
Well,
Yeah, if you
SmackDown
think
doesn't
about-
have the tag team division. Raw doesn't.
Unfortunately, you break them up and Dawkins gets Janetti'd.
Pretty much. And I think maybe that's why they didn't break them up.
Aaron, they've been a tag team since what, 2015? Even before then, 2014?
Yep.
Quite a while.
And early NXT days. So they've been around for almost 10 years as a tag team.
I will say this about him though, real quick. you can clearly tell he's been putting on muscle. He's been trying to get his size up to be more of that WWE single star archetype. You know, he is married to Bianca Belair, so he'll never, you know, as long as Bianca's there, I don't see his job necessarily being in jeopardy. But yeah, his teammate would be gone. But that's what you can do. You can have a turn on your teammate, like tag team. That's what you do with the tag team. You have one turn on the other, and then you have them feud for a little bit. And I think that he's really putting in the work. I just don't know if he's there ready right now for his push after them both being injured, or Dawkins was injured. And, they didn't pull the trigger then. I think they're trying to strengthen the tag team division before they do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they need to do something with this tag team division.
Get Penta and Phoenix together immediately. That's what I'm waiting for.
Yes.
The tag team division.
Yes. The singles works pretty well for Penta, but for Rey Phoenix, they're already putting him in a weird tag team with Andrade. Yeah.
I like that team more than most of the other teams.
They're both Hispanic, so
I
And
get
they both
it.
came from AEW, so
The Latino.
they got the history.
Yeah, maybe Andrade's showing him the ropes for a few months, whatever. We'll see.
It's
Possibly.
just to bide time until they put the Lucha Bros back together.
Yeah. Although Penta's doing really well.
I've changed my tune on Penta a lot. The Cero Miedo, especially the Royal Rumble, I was like, get it off my screen. He's doing it way too much. Now he's slowed down a little bit on doing it. And I am starting to enjoy his mask. I know I talked about it not liking his look, but starting to enjoy Penta when he's on my television. So
hey, Penta's teaching new kids how to throw up gang signs, so
Well, I mean, hey, if it's not Penta, it's Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Hey,
if it's not Grand Theft Auto, it's the other kids at school.
Okay, where are we at, Aaron?
All right, we got one more here from Oofman. Oofman sent in $5. Thanks, Oof. Says, would rather listen to Never Been a Right Time to Say Goodbye by Bret Hitman Hart. Who remembers that one? That's from the Simon Cowell produced WrestleMania album, 1993, with such classics as that. And we had the Hacksaw Jim Duggan song where he says he likes to beat people up. You had Slam Jam, Thank You Ma'am. You had Randy Savage. What was the lyrics for that one? I don't remember, but it was a great song. Macho Man, Slam Jam. I love that album. Another classic. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat. Says,
"What the fuck, Harley?
What? What's so funny?
I caught a Harley."
All right, we got the cat cameo here. Psycho Jet Black said, when days go by, there's room for you, room for me, for gentle hearts and opportunity. As days go by, it's the bigger love of the family.
And Aaron is completely lost about that.
There must be lyrics to the song.
It's the theme from Family Matters, the show that had Steve Urkel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know who Steve Urkel is, but I don't think I ever watched that show.
It's the theme to Family Matters.
Did I do that?
Yeah, that went over my head.
One of my
It was
favorites.
like when we were sitting here in the pre-show and y'all were talking about video games.
Those early '90s shows, like what was the one that who's the Men in Black guy?
Will Smith.
Will Smith.
I never watched that show.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Never watched it. Never watched 90210. Never watched Friends. Like I didn't watch any of those '90s shows. I mostly watched Nickelodeon. But like cartoons.
Step by Step.
Nope, never watched Full House. I liked Double Dare. I like Double Dare and Guts and Legends of the Hidden Temple. Those are my
Shrine of the Silver Monkey. He watched Nickelodeon games and sports. I know exactly what he's talking about. Good stuff, Aaron.
I didn't watch Seinfeld either, and I like Curb Your Enthusiasm. So there you go. Ty Art sent in a £2 super chat. Says Dolph Ziggler is the biggest booking shambles ever. No, but
I would disagree with that.
They failed to capitalize on him a few times. Like when he won the world title, that was a letdown. The post win, they didn't really fully make the most out of that run. And then didn't he win Survivor Series when Sting debuted?
Yes.
And
he did.
and then they went.
Yeah, he
nowhere
went like
with
one.
that.
He got like 5 eliminations or 4 eliminations in a row. He was like the only man on his team or something like that.
He was the Iron Survivor, basically.
I will say his shirt, stealing the show and your girlfriend, was one of the top WWE shirts of all time. Changed my mind in the chat.
Did you
I
wear it a
have
lot?
that in my closet.
I did wear it. I
used to
wear it
all
on
the
Raw, and
time.
I was featured on the
Oh, good
television
grief.
feed when I wore it. So yeah.
Nice.
I still have that one in my closet.
I never bought it.
Psycho Jet Black said, "Hey Arnold is more over than Austin Theory."
I agree.
Pretty
I
much.
will say his last name being Short Man was kind of a cop out, but also brilliant because his grandpa would just call him Short Man all the time. We just thought it's because he's short. Then they
Yeah.
revealed in the movie that his last name is Short Man. So it was pretty long-term storytelling, long-term booking there on that. So
Right up your alley, JJ.
All right, and we got one more from Roger B. I stand AEW too, and says Noah is the best Noah that has ever been on the No DQ channel. We love Noah Foster. He's great. Happy to have him on. Always a pleasure. Thank you, Roger, for the super chat. And we're caught up, Virtue. What a show tonight. This was a fun one, as they usually are.
All right, let's go around and do our final words. All right, Big G.
Yes. If anyone wants to throw it up, because my mind is
I do
blank.
want to throw it up, but
Okay.
StreamYard recently redid the
All right.
overlays.
So yes, YouTube has changed. It's at Big Baller G now. I'm doing a lot more live streaming of WWE 2K25. So go check that out. X NoDQ _ Big Baller G, Big Baller G 1988 on TikTok, and NoDQ _ Big Baller G 1988. And my wife's both her books are available on Amazon. The Fox and the Poppy and Harmony Under the Sea are both available.
Nice. Thanks, Big G. All right, who do I want to go with next? JJ.
You can find me on social media, Instagram, Renegade JJ Williams, X Casa D18 Studios. There's the YouTube channels for those of us in the Simply Reliable Studios. Jay Hebert Studios, Casa D18 Studios, Rage of Wrestling, Noah, of course. Make sure you subscribe to Rage of Wrestling on YouTube. Support Walter. He's at 157 on his quest to 200, and it's still the deal. His wife said she will send him +1 to WrestleMania in Vegas if he hits 200 subs. So No DQ Galaxy, get out there, subscribe to Rage of Wrestling. Get him up to 200.
Thanks, JJ. All right, Noah.
Always a pleasure, fam. Find me shortly here on YouTube once again, 10:30 p.m. Standard Time. And then Foster 1916. Or follow me on the X if you choose. And then Foster 1916 for all things wrestling. Prediction leagues, sleep predicting, Saturday shenanigans with JJ, watch along commentaries. You never know where I might be and out of YouTube or No DQ. But as always, I'm just here to encourage you just to laugh and enjoy wrestling too. It's as simple as that. And as long as the schedule and spots remain, I might see you again next week on the No DQ Review. Been a pleasure, Virtue.
Thank you, Noah. Okay, Gino, co-moderator.
yes, thank you so much, guys. If you want to go over to my YouTube channel and subscribe to me, I'm actually 1 subscriber away from 700 right now. City by the Bay just subscribed. Appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much for No DQ, the No DQ Galaxy, for the opportunity to be on this channel. It means an absolute lot to me, and I look forward to more of our play and chat video game stuff that we're doing. So go check out those videos, guys. We're having a lot of fun.
All right, thank you, Gino. Okay, Aaron.
All right, we got a few more super chats, so we're officially in overtime. Mr. Tito has arrived fashionably late tonight. Mr. Tito sent in $2 and said Epstein's list is more over than Austin Theory. What do you think about that, Virtue? I know you like to talk about politics.
I mean, do we even have the list yet? Do we know? I mean, it's no.
They said it doesn't exist anymore after promising to release it. So
yeah, like
honestly,
who cares at this point?
yeah.
But yes, I'm sure whatever is on the list is more over than Austin Theory. We'll put it.
He's probably on that list.
It's probably a lot of famous people on it.
Probably.
If it exists, which apparently it doesn't now.
Uh-oh.
So.
All right. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. Is the $25 Bremo Noah singing offer still up? JJ, you answered that earlier, I think.
Yeah, I don't know about Aaron. I thought it was just a one-shot deal last week, but feel free to stop by the Shenanigans because shenanigans always are afoot, and a $25 super chat on the Shenanigans, Noah will do it. I know he's not looking forward to doing Disney karaoke next week. So doing Brie mode, he might prefer that to singing "It's a Small World After All."
I
That's
mean,
a low bar.
hell, I might have to send Noah $25 just so I can hear him recite "Hulksters in Heaven,"
There you go.
or maybe "Never Been a Right Time to Say Goodbye" by Bret Hart.
And Noah actually gets into it. Okay, he puts on this order of decorum, like he hates doing karaoke. Dude's been going to church all his life. He's got one of the best voices on the panel, and when he actually starts to feel a song, you can see it start to come out of him.
I can attest to that. I second that
Especially-
motion, JJ.
Especially on the wrestling karaoke we do every year, which is usually the Saturday before WrestleMania. Go back in the archives and watch him do like Kingdom or something. Or a couple years ago, we did Disney karaoke, and these two did Powerline Eye to Eye, and they were doing the Goofy movie dance and everything.
I'm still like MJF. At the end of the day, you're not getting it for free. I'm NAF. You want it, you gotta pay me.
Yep.
All right, we got one more here from Shanti, who has also appeared. Say his name and he'll appear. I am Shanti. Shanti says, who do you want to see next don the Americano mask, and why R-Truth or Joe Hendry? Well, Noah, I had mentioned this on my stream. Like, I wonder if they're going to have like different people as the character. Like maybe it'll be somebody else after Kaiser, and they'll just keep it going. Just it'll never end. Like for the next 20 or 30
This is
years, we'll
never
have
gonna
El
end.
Grande Americano, and it'll always be a different character. He'll have the longest career in wrestling history. What do you think about that?
He'll try and outbeat Vacant without ever winning a championship. The next El Grande Americano, Akira Tozawa, the smallest one.
See, R-Truth as Americano would be funny, but I feel like WWE wouldn't do that. You know, they think people might be offended by it, but like they should have a bunch of different people be the character. I think it would be funny if they
yeah.
They should do like they did with Elias and Ezekiel, and have like a bunch of different El Grande Americanos like gather for Thanksgiving at the dinner table, and it'd be like the whole El Grande Americano family tree, and have Chad Gable like carving the turkey, but then have like 5 or 6 El Grande Americanos. So it can't be Chad Gable, y'all. It's not Chad Gable. It's not Chad Gable, Noah. Get over it.
It was Chad Gable. Don't you start. I mean, this is a freaking Virtue show. He's
That's
trying to get
gaslighting of the highest order, JJ. I love it.
Prove it to me, Noah. I can give Aaron a picture right now of Chad Gable and El Grande Americano in the same place at the same time. Prove to me that it was Chad Gable.
I have a question. Then why, when you order the mask or go to the show, it says Chad Gable's El Grande Americano mask?
Thank you.
That was a botch in marketing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Whatever.
All right, well done. We got 3 more super chats.
On to the next one.
3 more
please.
super chats for an
Move on.
OT.
Please move on.
All right. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2 and says the Chris Jericho list is more over than Austin Theory. I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
100%.
Yes.
Jericho, anything Jericho has done, even his worst gimmick, the learning tree.
Even
is
the
more over.
AEW gimmick. Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Bye, guys.
Why is my name on
Why are
here
we
as one
gonna
of the
be done?
greatest like things wrestling has ever done? So
Absolutely. 100% agree.
That was so brilliant.
This Guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, this guy. Says, what old WWE, WCW, or TNA shirt would you want to buy? Always pounding ass. No, definitely not that one. That's a real shirt, Noah.
If I could have gotten it, I would have gotten the Vince Loves Cock shirt back when DX was around.
I have that shirt, Big G.
I'd buy the Sin Cara penis t-shirt.
that was bad.
It was a real shirt, guys.
I don't think it was officially a TNA shirt. I think it was made for him on the Indies, but I saw him wear it on TNA quite a bit in the beginning. But the AJ Styles, the X Styles shirt.
I don't care about old shirts. I mean, you can probably find them on eBay.
Yeah, seriously though, like I'd buy the Austin 316 shirt again if I was
What?
thinking of buying an old shirt, which I'm not. But if I was, I'd get that one.
Nah, I'd probably buy another damn shirt just because it's simple.
There you go. All right, Shanti sent in a $2 super chat. This is an interesting one. Who would you want to see a WWE crossover in a Smash Brothers? Like a WWE character as a Smash
Roman
Brothers?
Reigns.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Roman Reigns, perfect.
Or Cena.
Yeah, but Roman Reigns seems like he would fit in like the Superman punch as a move, you know. Gino would probably master it like Piranha
He
Plant.
could do this for a little.
Yeah,
They
for
can
the
put the New
time.
Day in there. Xavier Woods brings out Francesca. And
All right,
there's
are we caught up finally?
Honestly, they should have like El Torito. You need somebody that's like a video game-esque character.
Next.
All right. Mr. Tito sent in a $2 super chat. Is Hulk Hogan's heel turn still the best wrestling moment?
No.
It's up there. Top 10 for sure. Maybe even top 5. I mean,
Best heel
it's
turn.
arguably one of the best. Best heel turn for sure. Like I still think it's number 1 above Cena at this point. I would say Hogan is number 1. Everybody seem to agree with that? Best heel turn for sure?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we know that how it ended. We don't know what Cena's going to do with the rest of his heel turn.
Very
Exactly.
true. But just that Hogan heel turn moment was just
I don't know, but if we don't get out of here, I'm about to turn heel.
But as far as best wrestling moment, you could make a serious case for Punk's first dance when he debuted at Rampage.
Mm-hmm.
there's a countdown clock. Virtue mode could be activated.
Virtue's rage.
You ever hear
will be
you know the Beverly
engaged.
Hillbillies outro song? Now it's time to say goodbye to Aaron and all his friends. Thank you all, you marks, for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back next week to this locality so we can talk more WWE.
There you go.
All
You
right.
got Virtue to sing, and you didn't even have to super chat.
Psycho Jet separate
Are we
chatted
caught up? Are
$25
we
total
done?
dollars for it.
Are we
Almost.
there yet? Are we there yet? Shanti said, "Who's next, Zilla or Journey Fatu to join WWE?" I don't know. They're just
Zilla.
they'll all be
Zilla.
there.
We'll see.
Zilla.
Yeah, Zilla.
I mean, I think eventually every Samoan who's on the indie scene will probably end up in WWE at this point, and they'll come up with every Tonga name they can think of for these guys. All right, we got one more here from Psycho Jet Black. El Torito and Austin Theory are on the same level. Damn. I mean, that's brutal. To be fair, Austin Theory is above El Torito. He's a little bit taller than that guy, I think. Overwise, maybe they're about equal. I don't know. All right, guys. On that note, we're caught up. So, Virtue, I'll let you take
All
this
right,
one home.
we'll make this quick. If you dare, at NoDQ_Virtue over on X. And then check out the NoDQ merch, nodq.com/merch. But that is it for Big G. For
Wait.
What? Did one come
One
through?
more.
Of course they
John T
For
sent
Noah.
in a $5 super chat. The countdown is now on to, I think, 90 seconds for Virtue before he blows a gasket.
Big G's about to turn heel. What are you talking about?
Big G's about to throw something at the screen here. What was the best fan sign you can think of? Mine is Dean Ambrose's Titty Master. That's the best sign you can think of?
Goldberg
Of all
eats
the
corn
signs,
the long
jabroni.
way.
Titty Master?
I mean, I remember back in the Attitude Era, SmackDown, This Is Really Tuesday. What else did I see? Lita, Eat My Pita.
Goldberg eats corn the long way will
Those
forever
are-
be the best
those are a
sign
couple.
ever.
No, my favorite one is Triple H mid-Carter for life in '97, and then Triple H
Oh.
proved that guy wrong. Like, I want to know how that guy felt when Triple H won the world title.
Yeah. Or what about the guy behind me can't see? Love those signs.
Classic one.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
another one came in.
There's another one. There's another one.
Oh, no! 60 seconds and the Virtue.
Oh, another.
Virtue's going to start
explode.
expressing his love.
Tito is gonna. Yeah.
47.
Virtue's hulking up, brother. He's
He's
gonna.
going to start talking about how great the country is because of 47. Psycho Jet Black.
45
says-
and 40.
You're right. There you go. Big G, spot talk about your love for Jeff Jarrett.
No.
Quickly,
Nope,
one
I'm
word.
done
So he
talking.
loves him so
Virtue,
much.
end the
Okay.
show.
Thank you.
End the show.
Next.
Big G will not talk about
Next.
Jeff Jarrett. So if you super chat
No.
about Big G and Jeff Jarrett, he's just gonna ignore it, and it's gonna
But
be
we
a waste
don't
of the
need
super
him to
chat.
talk about Jeff Jarrett because Aaron can just put one photo up and it says millions of words without saying any words at all.
Exactly.
There you go.
He looks like he just saw the Fountain of Youth or something. The Holy
Right?
Grail.
All right. Well,
All right, two
one.
more.
Here's one that Virtue might like. Mr. Tito
Yep.
sent in
Oh,
$2.
Lord.
Mr. Tito says, "Who's more over in 2025, Roman Reigns or CM Punk?" That's a
CM
good
Punk
one.
because he's there. I mean, he misses weeks, but Roman's really cut back. So it's the guy that's there getting pops when he's there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think right now CM Punk is at the top of his game. But
Roman
they
will
still
come
chant
back, have a
OTC.
SummerSlam program when these movies that he's in start coming out. And if people, hey, this guy has it. He's probably going to be a good, little hand in Hollywood. But right now, we don't see any Roman Reigns. That sucks.
He's got that other movie coming up, I think. What's that new movie he's doing? Oh, the Street Fighter movie.
He's going to be in Street Fighter. There's one that he did some scenes with Keanu Reeves in that's in post-production. He's in another. He's filmed some stuff that's in post-production right now.
Yeah.
Not counting. I don't know if these are going straight to streaming or theater movies. I don't really know. But Street Fighter, that'll be a theater movie.
You're not too happy about Cody allegedly.
I'll get over it. I mean, but it's like, did they really need to do that? Like, can't they let Roman shine as the wrestler in that movie? Just
Yeah.
But if you look at TKO, they're leaders. They have connections with Hollywood. I'm not surprised they're getting these wrestlers in these movies.
Nah.
So.
All right, we got one here from the This Guy Experience. He sent in $2. Thank you, This Guy. This guy wants to know how he gets to the roundtable videos, and the answer is, if I do them again, I'll reach out to you and we'll get you on. And it was a test run. I got the core group on, but if I do another series, I'll definitely reach out to some.
This guy, you can sit at the round table. You'll just sit in the corner of it.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, this guy, we asked a bunch of questions all at once and we all sent in our answers. So they come out week to week, but we sent in our answers a while ago. So that's why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Season 1's already recorded. Moving on.
All right. Say his name and he'll appear. I am Shanti. Says, Gino, everyone has what?
Glasses.
Glasses. You need glasses too, also, please.
I hate the reflection on the screen, but I do wear glasses. They are my Ray-Bans, and I put them on just for you so we can end the review.
All right, you look like Bubba Ray Dudley over there if you just put a little bit of white tape in the center. Testify, my brother.
Gino, hit the button.
All right, well, Virtue's the one that's got to sign us off here.
All right, for G, for JJ, for Noah, for Gino, for Aaron, and the whole NoDQ crew and Galaxy. We'll see you again next time. I think Colin will be the guy, if not Gino. Good night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Whoa. I got it just in the nick of time here.
Because I think it's
fuck's sake.
Big G's just
Mortal Kombat's better, and we're out.
Mortal Kombat, good night.
Imagine if one night people just kept super chatting and then we see who actually just drops.
I mean, they're both top 4 or 5 all-time in sales and games, but Mortal Kombat's the king. Based on popularity.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat.
Here's another fun fact. I never played Mortal Kombat as a kid.
Did you play WWE or WrestleMania, the arcade game?
Yes.
Then you basically played Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
Oof.
That was just like they used the WWE skin over the gameplay.
I mean, it had a little more wrestling to it, but I think it was the same company, wasn't it? Well,
I thought they had like the background and you could move around the ring, where Mortal Kombat's more side to side.
Scrolling, yeah. They started scrolling all day.
I liked Street Fighter. I guess Street Fighter 2, right? I didn't even play the first Street Fighter. I only know Street Fighter 2.
I like Soul Calibur because you got just. I like 3D. I love 3D fighting.
There you go.
And I liked Clay Fighter as a kid, and then of course Smash Brothers game.
Super Smash is good too. It's one of
Super Smash, yeah. Nintendo All-Stars is fun too.
All right. On that note, I'm going to throw up the graphic again.
Bye.
Later. Catch you on the next one.
Oh my gosh.